week and a half off for a few reasons. But I'm back. Monday is all about me testing my technical setup and also giving you the social media news for the week. We're going to catch up together. So I'm going to go through things, see what there is, see what's been happening, and then we can talk about it. Just like to check. I'm live. And yes, we are live. We're live on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook page, Facebook group, and YouTube. I do believe, yes, we are. Even YouTube's come in for once. Okay. So if you haven't met me before, my name's Laurel Papworth. I'm a social media strategist, social media expert, working primarily in government, but also with corporates and non-profits. And I do Zoom sessions and I test my setup, and you don't need to know that. Let's just get going on here. I classically just like to check that yes, that everything's working. So I'm using a social media monitoring dashboard. Let me just put myself up here. A social media monitoring dashboard called Feedly, which is a free version. It's basically creating your own newspaper or sections of a newspaper, and I'm focusing primarily on social media and some of the things as well, but mostly social media. So first up was a report that I saw from 2 hours ago by the lovely Annabelle Crabb at the ABC, and it says, Facebook or YouTube, what does your favorite social media site say about you? And then it says analysis. So it is not an opinion piece, it's an analysis piece. And it's always important in content to identify the difference between opinion and analysis. So if I say in my experience, you have to assess my experience. 25 years of running online communities, teaching, researching, my experience is fairly deep and fairly varied. But somebody else might say, oh, I had this happen to me on social media, and then take it as a fact, whereas it's actually an anecdote. So, a lot of content is based on who we trust. Do you trust me? Do I trust me? Not on a Monday morning. Maybe by Monday afternoon and my second cup of coffee you might want to. So this is a survey of 60,000 respondents. I don't use surveys. So in marketing, it's very popular to go out and do Vox Pop, to do surveys, to do a range of things. And what it tells us is how the respondents see themselves. And my issue with surveys is they lie. I lie. You lie. You may not even realize it, but you are your best self in a survey. Do you watch television? Oh no, I don't have time to watch television. But if I use big data, if I use non-declarative analysis, so for instance, if I use 1.6 billion people on Facebook and then analyze the number of people in Australia talking about Big Brother or celebrity this or whatever, I can actually analyze the percentage of the population that are watching television in some format as opposed to what they declare. So they'll say, I don't watch Big Brother, or I don't watch The Bachelor. And then the next minute they're saying on Facebook, oh my God, I can't believe he gave her the rose, #TheBachelorAU. And those analytics are available to us. So for data journalism, for any kind of analysis of a community, data, what is it they say? In God we trust, or others bring data. Bring data. So this is a survey by the ABC, I'm assuming with one of their partners, and they're asking people to declare things. So 25% reported that using Facebook very often, and 28% saying somewhat often. This is such a fib because I watched the numbers, the traffic to Facebook during COVID, so post-2019 bushfires. Is that large enough for you guys to see? You have to tell me if it's not. The traffic from during the bushfires in Australia all the way through COVID was massively increased. It was the largest increase was for TikTok by far, like 52%. Facebook and Twitter also received a boost. But Twitter is a lot about politics, so it's the pithy headline. It's for text story types. So there was a big increase for Twitter. When I say text story types, it's either the pithy headline in text or the pithy headline with a link to more text. It's not an Instagram visual story type platform. So it attracts a different audience. What else do we have here? I'm waffling. I don't want to waffle. We need to get on because Monday mornings I need to get better at doing quick hits on things. So LinkedIn was the only one that didn't have a big increase. It had a small increase, which surprised me because I thought a lot of people would lose their jobs during COVID and therefore be on LinkedIn every day looking for jobs. But that's not how they reacted. Women are on Instagram, men are on YouTube. We can check those numbers, but I'm going to go with it's irrelevant. If you look at the biggest YouTubers, the beauty YouTubers, absolutely, they're on YouTube. Women and men, mostly women, on the beauty platforms. But if you're looking at the gamer and the tech channels, probably a mix. I'm only saying that because I watch them. Anecdotal. And women on Instagram. We can actually check those numbers, like literally country by country, age group by age group. So we don't need to do a survey of 60,000 people. We can look at the billion people and check it that way. I'm not going to do it today. If you see my other videos, you know how to do it. Instagrammers are show-offs. Probably Instagrammers, it's often about inspo. So you've probably heard of Insta inspo and inspo insta and hashtags like that. So it's living your best life. TikTok is living your goofiest life. So there's a lot of grandparents on TikTok who are who come on and say, I want to embarrass my grandkids, and then they do a goofy dance. It's mums wiggling their bums around while doing the washing up. It's a whole family. It's a family platform, so the family get together and do goofiness. So TikTok brings out our sense of humour, and it's very popular in Australia and growing massively because we are by nature jokers. We don't have the fixation as much on presentation that some of our comrades across the pond have. Any pond, any which direction, except New Zealand. I think New Zealand shares our goofiness. So TikTok's where you go to see people mucking around, being silly, and Instagram's where you go to see them being their best life. So I think they've drawn a conclusion from their declarative analysis. Declarative, meaning we declare what we're doing as opposed to behavioural, we just do it. Twitter users are more likely to report offensive content. Oh yes, we go on Twitter to be offended. We go on Twitter to be morally outraged. We go on Twitter for Trump and right wing and left wing, and then we report everybody left, right and centre. You get the comments, you get the responses that you've earned. So Twitter itself as a platform has done nothing to protect women, nothing to protect its users. It definitely doesn't have the kind of Facebooky, Facebook has all these policy groups and they're going hard on controlling the conversation, which is in and of itself concerning, because now we're asking corporate America to censor Australian politicians. you've heard me say all that. Anyway, let's move on. What time did I start? Oh, we're 10 minutes in. That's not very good. So I found this series of blog posts on the Instagram blog. Again, you can bring the blogs into your Feedly and then you'll see them there. I'm not sponsored by Feedly. I just want to be clear on that. I am big on using free tools to at least understand the tool. And then I think I pay $5 or $9 a month for my Feedly because I found it useful, because it brings in Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and Twitter lists and Twitter hashtags and Instagram hashtags all into one dashboard. That's the only reason I'm talking about that. Anyway, Adam Mosseri, young man, recently had a couple of kids. He was you don't need to know that, but he was the head of the Facebook newsfeed. So the data research team created this newsfeed sort of customer-facing group, and he's the director of that. And then he moved to Instagram when Facebook bought Instagram, and he's bringing the news feeds together, algorithm together, data sets. So I always watch Adam Mosseri, what he's talking about. He's taking what he learned from Facebook and migrating it to Instagram, and then taking Instagram, migrating it to Facebook. So as an example, Facebook were not big on hashtags, and now they are. They've got a whole course for journalists on how to use hashtags. Good on you, Facebook Inc. So on June the 8th, he's explaining how they rank stories. Now, what I want to know is, does he mention story types? No, he doesn't. And he probably wouldn't, because, let me just check in case they spelled it separately. No, they haven't. Because Instagram is one story type. It's the visual story type. If you like reading articles, you're not on Instagram. Like if you like reading articles continually, that's what you do. You read blog posts, you read newspaper articles, you read the news rather than watching videos of it. Instagram is not for you. Instagram is for the magazine reader, people who like visual magazines. And so he won't be talking about it on there because you wouldn't go on Instagram and do a lot of text. So the information about the post, they're looking at how popular the post seems to be. So the signals there, the social signals for the post are engagement, which is why I don't care how many people you have following you. I want to know what number of people engage with you. If you have 10,000 people following you and 5 engagements, I'd rather you had 5 people following you and 10,000 engagements. You're doing so much better. These are signals like how many, so that's quantity, and how quickly, which is velocity. If you look at big data, it's one of the V's, velocity. Other people are liking, commenting, sharing, and saving a post. Bookmarking it, I guess. These signals matter much more in Explore than they do in Feed or in Stories. Put Stories to one side. So the Feed is stuff you've already subscribed to, so they know that you are at least moderately interested in that channel. But Explore is an indicator, so that's discoverability. Your history of interacting with the people who posted, yeah, we know that. Usually that's an MAU, monthly active users. He's not saying it, but it's 28 days. 28 days. So if you were bestest best friends last month and then you had a big blow up on the 27th of May and you haven't spoken since and you haven't even looked at each other's social media content and you're not stalking each other, that person will drop out of your feed. The history of interacting with the person who posted. Most likely the post was shared by someone you've never heard of, but you may have interacted with them. How come you've never heard of them but you've interacted with them? I mean, if you've liked their post, then you've heard of them. I don't know. Your activity, social signals again, engagement again. Information about the person who posted. How many times people have interacted with that person in the last few weeks? There's something called the last act of 50, which is, did you interact with that channel, that business, that person, that event, that group, whatever, in your last 50 interactions in the last 24 hours. And if you have, then another post within 24 hours will show up in your feed. And that's pretty easy to see with BuzzFeed and the ABC and news content sites where they're continually posting. But for organizations that are only posting once or twice a week, they're usually missing out on this. The fact that he says in the past few weeks says to me that there's a second data set, not the last active 50/24, but the last active 50 MAU, monthly active users. So have you interacted with this person in your last 50 interactions? But if your last 50 interactions are spread over a number of weeks, then it still counts. You have to dig through these things, and then they're going through reels. Shadow banning. Finally, oh my God. Instagram went on record on TechCrunch and said, we do not shadow ban. And we're all like, liars, because we've seen it. So shadow banning is where you post something up and you can see it. And if you click on a hashtag social media, you can see it, but there's 0 interactions. And then you ask a friend, can you click on social media? And your friend clicks on social media and scrolls through thousands and thousands of posts, even if they subscribe to you, and they can't see it. And what that means is you've been sin binned, that you've used the hashtag too often, or you've been seen as spammy, or you've just triggered an algorithm that's, unforgiving. An unforgiving God. And I think that that's problematic, because if we don't know the rules, then we can't play the game. We can't play the game. Let me go straight to screen share. You don't need to know my face. You know what I look like. Make this bigger. We recognize we haven't always done enough to explain why we take down the content we do. He still isn't identifying shadow banning spanners. Doesn't help brands, this one, does it? You can select your close friends. You can mute accounts you're not interested in. That's if it's like a family member, and if you unfollow them, it's going to make for a very uncomfortable Christmas, so you want to mute them. Okay, cool. So there's a series of these posts coming out. So if you don't follow Adam Mosseri, or you're not bringing in the Instagram blog into your social media feeds, maybe do that. I just think that it's useful to stay up to date, at least on what they're telling us. There's obviously a lot more we have to discover as well. Also, there's a Instagram account called Creators. I think there's one on YouTube for Google, YouTube data research team, product managers, something like that. Also called Creators. And no, we can't get you verified. That's funny. And they are doing all the work that they can to keep us informed about how to use Instagram. This is what I mean by it's for text story types. Like for visual story types, picture story types. I'm a text story type, so I appreciate the words on the posts. And I assume that we go here. Okay. Follow these trends to get more eyes on your reels. Scroll through the latest content and songs while leading to the way to reels, plus a rising artist to keep tabs on. Okay, so they're just creating like little themes and little playlists. Fair enough. Let's keep going. We are 19 minutes in. What's this one? 25 expert takeaways about content strategy, experiences, tech, analytics, SEO, and more. Oh, so it's a listicle. Go and ask a whole bunch of people who are key in the industry to give us some little snippets, some little tidbits. Really get close to your customers. Yeah, that's why we build communities and not channels. Channels are where you're just pumping out, buy this, buy this, buy this. Communities is where they're talking, and they're talking about all kinds of things, even off-topic things. And off-topic often will inform you a lot more about the psychographic. So if they're talking about a special like a football club, and they're talking about a special offer at Target, then you know the psychographic. And you're able to accommodate a lot more of your marketing towards that psychographic. What else do we have here? Collaborate for an audience-centric strategy. I think this is not one of the things I can really use in news because you have to sit here and read through it. And I love reading through things. But I'm not sure. What else do we have here? Focus on the experience, guide people, speak their language. Absolutely. I've seen a few things that are funny. One was not that funny, but a Facebook page that kept saying, "Dear users." And in the end, people were leaving comments, "I'm not a user." And another one was, join us for tourism. I'm thinking, what family says, "Come on, kids, let's go away for some tourism this weekend"? You have to use getaway, or you have to use, I don't know. Do people go away anymore? We're just in lockdown again. Go for the easy wins, track it, conversations, omni-channel. Analyze first, then try AI. Oh, I see. It's for non-manual. Beware of the bottom line. Pay it forward. Okay, well, it's an interesting article. If you go to contentmarketinginstitute.com and then you look for an article that's 25 expert takeaways, you can go and read through it, but I'm not going to do it on my own. Hi, Jeff. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Jeff's on LinkedIn. The last one here is AC. Why don't they have security? Why isn't that HTTPS? Always a concern. I'm going to assume that this is WordPress. Oh. Yeah, it is. There's no reason why there isn't a HTTPS on that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, you don't have to know it all in social media marketing. That's why you have me. It's been a pleasant distraction for her during the pandemic. See, told you so. Huge increase in TikTok. It's because she likes LinkedIn. Social media is so fragmented now. There's not enough DAOs in the day. You can and should have tools. Okay, so I understand what this article is saying. It's basically saying if you're a social media manager, you don't have to be across all the platforms, but we'll get to that in a moment. What you do have to do is be ready. If a client says we want to do a TikTok campaign and you're not on TikTok, you need to be able to say, sure. And then you need to have the strategy to be able to step into a community and say, what is this community about? What is this platform about? I had a call from an entrepreneur who didn't know what he wanted and didn't know how he wanted to use me and couldn't tell me anything about the product and wanted me to sign an NDA and couldn't tell me even a basic high level stuff. So we get rid of them real quick until they go and find out what they're doing and he had no backers, and it's one of those things where I feel sorry for them, but I'm not here for them to test out their brilliant idea that they had 11 years ago. What I want to know is it a synchronous or an asynchronous platform? So a synchronous platform is in real time. A YouTube Live, a LinkedIn Live, it's live. Jeff can comment and I can comment back to Jeff. Brilliant. What else is live? Facebook Live. You get the general idea. It's like a telephone call. If you make a telephone call and leave a voicemail, then you've moved into asynchronous territory. So asynchronous is writing a blog post and waiting for the comments, tweeting something, waiting for the responses, putting up a Facebook post, waiting for the responses. That is what asynchronous is. And then once I figured out those, then I move into story types. Is it predominantly a text story type like LinkedIn and Twitter? Or is it predominantly a visual story type like Instagram or YouTube? So if somebody comes to me and says, oh, I want you to get to understand TikTok, I quickly understand, it's kind of like Instagram, it's kind of like YouTube. But then I have to go into community values, and then I find out it's more humor and it's sing-alongs and it's things like that. And then I look at if Instagram was completely new and I knew nothing about Instagram and somebody said, can you do an Instagram campaign? I would go and have a look, and in fact, this is exactly what I did. And went, oh, it's Flickr. So it's Flickr reborn, Flickr re-envisioned. So that's the sort of thing that I think that this article is saying, that you should know those things. Now, what I think this article could do, Eric Hansen, I probably have to let them know I said this, one step further. Invest your time where your customers are investing their time when they're investing their time. So as an example, when I started working with politicians that were putting up their tweets between 9 and 5 Monday to Friday, or their media advisors were, we had to look at what was then Monday night Q&A and schedule some stuff to go up then. Now it would be Thursday. And other days and times of the week. Wednesday, Mummy Loves Wine Wednesday, is when fair few people, particularly mums, grab a glass of wine and sit down and watch trashy TV. Tuesday and Wednesday. I think Tuesdays is reality TV. I can't remember. I haven't looked at them for a while. But COVID also threw things out. Invest your time when they invest their time and where they do. If you love Instagram, but you're dealing with authors and editors, with university researchers, with accountants, they're very text focused. They've got the engineering psychographic. Instagram may not be their thing. You love Instagram, but they may not be there. With small business, just do you, because normally your perfect target audience is a copy of you. Somebody very similar to you. So whatever you enjoy doing, you do you, and you'll find your audience. Brands, it's a bit different. If I did me, I'd probably only have really wacky clients. But then again, having thought of that, I do have really wacky clients. So maybe I have attracted my audience to me. And we are at the 28.5-minute mark. So I think we're going to finish up there. What was your news of the week? What did you think was most interesting? I actually want to know because I'm trying to refine this. So did you find the stuff from Instagram data research interesting? Did you find the survey that the ABC did interesting? Does the idea of 25 top tips from social media experts all curated together, do you find them interesting? And how about... what was it? You don't have to know it all in social media marketing. Are you looking for excuses to not have to learn new platforms? Me. So every Monday, social media news, live stream to you. And Thursday, not sure if we're doing a lecture this Thursday. I'll have to look at my calendar. I do lecture series. I'm due for a new series. So I'm just taking a break for a week or so until I decide what the new series is going to be on. What would you like a series on? I need an industry as well. It can't just be how to do Facebook, but how to do Facebook for embassies, or how to do Instagram for schools, something like that. Thank you for your time today. Thank you again, Jeff. And I enjoy doing these. I think I'm going to keep doing them for a little bit longer. I had planned to do them for 6 months, so we're up. The time's up, or will be soon if it's not already. But I think I'm going to keep doing them. I do enjoy doing them. Yeah, I better go. Bye.